Hello everyone. Today we are going to see data link layer design issues. Data link layer has a number of specific functions which it can carry out. These functions include providing well-defined services, or we can say service interfaces to the network layer, dealing with the transmission error, also regulating the flow of data so that receivers are not swamped by the faster senders. To accomplish these goals, the data link layer takes the packets which is coming from the network layer, and it just encapsulates them into the frames for the transmission. Each frame contains, from the diagram you can analyze that this packet is coming from the upper layer, that is network layer, and that will be converted into the frames into the data link layer. Now each frame contains a frame header, payload field for holding the packet, and a frame trailer. Okay, so this is what we can say a simple diagram for a relationship between the packets and the frame. Now, um, if we talk about the services provided to the network layer, here the function of the data link layer is to provide services, the basic services, right? The main service is to transmit the data from the network layer on the source machine to the network layer on the destination machine. Now here, the job of the data link layer is to transmit the bit to the destination machine so they can be handed over to the network layer, right? If you can see this diagram, the first diagram, which is showing the virtual communication, right? The data has to be transmitted from this network layer to receiver's network layer, right? But if we talk about the actual transmission, it follows the path like this. The second diagram is showing about the actual path, that this it takes the data from the network layer, it transmits to the data link layer, it transmits to the physical layer, then through the transmission medium, it goes back to the network layer of the uh, receiver side, right? So this is all about the virtual and the actual transmission of data link layer. Now, the data link layer can design to offer various services. There are three types of the services provided. First is unacknowledged connectionless service. Second, acknowledged connectionless service, and the third one is acknowledged connection oriented service. Okay, we will start. We will discuss one by one. Unacknowledged connectionless service, the first one. Here in this service, the we can say receiver does not send back any acknowledgement of receiving frames. No any connection is established between the communication, or before the communication or after releasing the communication. If frame is lost due to the noise, then no attempt is made to recover it. So we can say this service is suitable only if the error rate is very low. It is suitable for real time traffic, such as speech. In that case, so we can go with this service. Then the second is acknowledged connectionless service, in which it improves the reliability. In this service, there are no connections used, but for each frame received, the receiver sends an acknowledgement to the sender. If a frame is not received within specified time, then the sender will retransmit it. It is suitable for unreliable channels, right? Now, the third point is acknowledged connection oriented service. Now, in this service, this is we can say a very sophisticated service where the source and the destination machine establishes a connection before actually transmitting the data. The specific number is given to each frame which is being sent, and data link layer guarantees that each transmitted frame is received. Right, the sequence number is given on every frame. So all the frames are guaranteed to be received in the same order of transmission. So total three phases will be followed by this acknowledged connection oriented service. The first one is connection is established. The second is the data will be transferred, and the third will be the connection is released. Right. So this is we can say all about the services provided to the network layer function of data link layer is. Now the second is the framing in the data link layer. Okay, so how the frames will be formed, and how we are going to provide the service to the network layer. The data link layer must use service provided to it by the physical layer. Yes or no? Physical, every layer is taking the services from the below layer, right? So what the physical layer does, it accepts the raw bit stream and attempts to deliver it to the destination. Now this bit stream is not guaranteed to be error free, right? So the number of bits received may be less than or equal to or more than the number of bits transmitted, and they may have different values, right? So it is up to the data link layer to detect, and if it is needed, then to recover the data or to correct the error. Yes. So the data link layer, it breaks the bit stream into different frames and compute the checksum for each frame. Okay. So when a frame arrives at the destination, the checksum is computed. If the newly computed checksum is different from the one which is contained in the frame, the data link layer just knows that an error has occurred, and it just deals with that, right? So breaking the bit stream into frame is called as the framing. So one way of doing is that matlab in apart from this listed method, one method was that to insert the time gap between every frame. Okay, but practically if we are talking, this framing technique does not work, right, satisfactorily, because networks generally do not make any guarantee about the timing. So some other methods are derived, which one, those methods are listed out here. The first one is character count, the second is flag byte with the byte stuffing, the third is flag bytes with the bit stuffing, and the fourth one is physical layer coding violation. Now we will just discuss one by one. Now the first is framing with the character count. Now in this method, a field or you can say a field in the header is used to just specify the number of characters in the frame. Okay. Now this number helps to receiver to know the number of characters in the frame following this count, right? So if you can see this diagram, if you can follow this diagram, the first beat from this frame is showing that the how many number of beats are available in this one frame, which will be followed with this count itself. So if it is showing 5, that means total 5 bits are present in this frame 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the first frame. Now receiver knows that 5 bit, this up to this we have I have a first frame, so that will be analyzed by the receiver. Okay. Now if you'll talk about the second frame, this also contains the head 5. That means total 5 bits are present by counting this one also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then third frame, the count here is character count is 8. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means this is the end of the frame, right? Now here is again the count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So this is all about the character count, which will identify the start and the end of the frame to the receiver. Now what can happen here, one error can possible, or we can say the disadvantage of the this type of framing method is an error can change the character count, right? The error can change the character count. If the wrong character count number is received, then the receiver will get out of synchronization and will be unable to locate the start of the next frame, right? If you can see this diagram, now here you can check, first frame is showing the 5 character count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is correct. So receiver will identify this is the end of the frame. Now the next frame is showing about the 7 character count. That means how many frames we want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to this second frame is available. Okay. So we are saying that total 7 numbers are available. So up to this I have 7. Now this is showing a new character count, that is 1. Now what is mean by this 1? That means only in this frame only one bit is present, and which is itself showing the character count. No, this is something wrong. If we talk about the next one, that is a 2, that means 2 and 3. What about this? So that means if what if the error count this character count will get changed, so it will become an issue while receiving at the receiver side. So where to start and where to end the data, right? Because if you can see, the correct one should be 5 here, but it is showing the 7, and that is why we are going we are including the next beat, and we are considering the next beat into this frame, which will show you the error because of the error in the count, right? So now because of that, we will move toward the next method, as we have already discussed about the problem with the framing with character count. What if the count is garbled? Even if with checksum, the receiver knows that the frame is bad, there is no way to tell where the next frame starts, right? So asking for retransmission doesn't help either, because the start of the retransmitted frame is not known. So that is why that method is no longer used. And we have, after that, we have a second method which is called as framing with byte stuffing. Okay. The problem of resynchronization is recovered in this method by having each frame start and end with the spatial byte. Okay. In the past, the starting and ending byte were different, but in recent year, most protocol have used the same byte called flag byte as both the starting and ending delimiter. Okay. If you can see this diagram, you can we know that the frame format is header, payload, and the trailer. But now we are starting the frame and ending the frame with the flag byte, so that receiver can identify which is the starting one and which is the ending one. So in this way, if the receiver even if the receiver even loses synchronization, it can just search for the flag byte to find the end of the current frame. Okay. So two consecutive, suppose in example, if two consecutive flag byte indicates the end of the one, which will indicate the end of the one frame and start of the next one. So a serious problem may occur with this method when binary data such as object programs or the floating point numbers are being transmitted. It may be possible that flag byte pattern occurs in data. Okay, that means if you can see this example in original data itself, what if the flag byte will come? Okay, sorry. So one way to solve this problem is to have a sender's data link layer inserts a special escape byte just before each accidental flag byte in the data. Okay, if you can refer this one, if we have a flag byte in the original characters, then we can just pre stuff a ESC byte into this transmitted frame. Okay. Now, the data link layer at the receiving end removes the escape byte before the data are given to the network layer. This technique of stuffing the byte stream into the frame is called as byte stuffing or the character stuffing. If suppose the escape byte occurs in if escape byte occurs in the middle of the data, then it is also stuffed with one more escape byte in the data. Okay, there are number of examples written over here. If we have a data EASC and B, then we have to just stuff one more ESC before this ESC. If we have ESC flag in the original data, then for every accidental byte or accidental uh, pattern, we can just stuff ESC and ESC over here. Okay, if we have two ESC, then it will become 4 ESC while we are transmitting. But while at receiver side, data link layer will receive the data, it will just remove this newly added ESC bytes, and then only the original data will be transmitted to the receiver. Okay, so now only the thing or only the limitation is that it is just closely tied to the use of 8-bit characters. So not all character code uses the 8-bit character. So this is what the limitation for this uh, byte stuffing method is. So now the next method is framing with the bit stuffing. Now this technique allows the frame to contain an arbitrary number of bits and allow characters code with an arbitrary number of bits per character. At the beginning and the end of the each frame, a specific pattern, the pattern which will be 0 1 1 1 1 1 1 0, which is also called as flag byte. This is added, and this technique is called as the bit stuffing. Okay. Now, whenever the sender data link layer detects the presence of 5 consecutive ones, then uh, it just automatically stuff a 0 bit into the outgoing bit string. If you can just look out this example, then this is the original data. Okay, 0110 all ones 0010, right? So this is our original data. We just have to transmit this. Now what will happen at data link layer of the sender side? It just add the starting and the ending frame here, 0111. Okay, 1110. So this 8-bit will be added as a starting bit and ending bit also. Then what it will just check, if in the original data, if 5 consecutive ones are available. So after 5 consecutive ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after this one, we will just stuff a 0 bit over here. Okay. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will just stuff 0 bit over here. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will just stuff 0 bit here. Then we will continue with the original data 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. Okay. So while receiver's data link layer will receive this bit stream or frame, then it will just remove the zeros after 5 consecutive ones, and the original data will be transmitted to the network layer. Now suppose after this 5 consecutive ones, okay, after this 5 consecutive ones, if 0 is present in the original data, then at that time also we have to just add 0 over here, and then the original 0 will be added after this 0. So two zeros will be present here. Okay, so that stuffed 0 will be removed out at the receiver side by the data link layer, and then it will be transmitted to the network layer. Okay, now our last framing method is physical layer coding violation. This framing method is only applicable to the networks in which the encoding on the physical medium contains some redundancy. For example, we can say some LANs encode each bit of data using two physical bits only. So normally one bit is represented by 1-0 pair, and 0 bit is encoded with 0-1 pair. So if you can see this, 0 is encoded with the 0-1 and 1 is encoded with the 1-0. So in this scheme, every data bit has a transmission in the middle, so making it easy for the receiver to locate the bit, we can say bit boundaries. Fine. Now, this is all about the framing methods. So in the next part, we will talk about the flow control, error control, and then we will move towards the error detection methods. I hope you understood services design layer issues of the data link layer, in which we have covered the services provided to the network layer, and then we saw framing methods. Thank you so much.